Hi, in this presentation, I'm going to show you how you can use DataWalk address parser. I'm going to show you two configurations. One that is going to save the addresses in the new set, and second one that is going to update the values in existing set. So let me start from the simple example. I'm going to remove all the scripts so that we can start the process from the beginning. So first thing that you need to do is to recognize what is your problem. So in example addresses, we have addresses that looks strange, and it's very hard to connect, for example, all the objects from Philadelphia because Philadelphia is hidden in that string. So we need to somehow execute a script that's going to extract that information to something more manageable. To do that, you can use address parser. Address parser using neural network called libpostal that is trained on Planet OSM, and it allows you to extract almost any address in the world. And it's a part of a standard Python with libs Docker, which is always deployed on the server. So in this situation, to execute that script, you need to follow specific instructions. First, we need to deploy the script. To do so, you need to open the script dataset. So in this dataset, we don't have any. As you can see, we don't have any object. So now we need to add new object, which is going to be called DataWalk address parser. So DataWalk address parser. The name is going to be visible when you're going to hit on add set button. So please make it human readable. So DataWalk address parser. The description, that's the description what script does. So it uses libpostal to parse addresses. And the script provides structure. To get an icon that is going to be visible for the end user, you need to click, you can provide on the next tab the address plane icons. So in this situation, we are going to use this icon. And I'm going to show you in a second where that icon is going to be visible. So in this situation, you need to save your script, save your object, and drag into attachments the file that is an address parser. That is script zip. Okay. So let me drag it. Okay, so we have that script. Script has only 6 kilobytes. And now let's deploy that script. So click deploy, and the script is using a very restricted user sent to the proper place on the app server, unzipped and prepared for operations. So now let's just go back to Universe Viewer. By the way, you have all the informations, and the history of that object shows you what has happened and who deployed it. So in this situation, let's go to Universe Viewer and let's just use that script. So first scenario is going to add additional set that we are going to link with our example addresses. That is going to keep all the parsed out addresses. So let's add just set. You can see that icon that we've used. Let's click it and provide the configuration called example addresses parser. We are not providing any configuration, and configuration can be massaged later on. If you want to execute that script periodically based on the data that wasn't yet parsed, then you will need a configuration, but that's a part of different story or different video. So if you click next, what will happen is system is going to go to the script and ask the script, hey script, please tell me what are the structures that you require to operate properly. So script replied, I need a set that will contain those columns. So the first example we'll store that data into new set. So in this situation, the new set will be called example addresses uh, parsed parsed. Those columns will be created. So if I hit create button, system is going to create exactly the same columns in the set, and will open the folder because the configuration itself is an object, DataWalk object as well. So it will open the folder to massage the properties of that configuration later on, further on. So I can edit that script, and I can say that this script should be enabled from link chart. Attribute trigger enabled, that's a different story. I'm not going to explain that on this video. Create central script is enabled. Table view, yes, I want to execute that script from table. Object folder, so from this perspective, we can tell to the system that this script should be enabled from object folder. And now in parameters, we can provide the information when script is going to be available. So in our situation, the address parser requires address to be parsed out. So in this situation, we are going to require the column called address. If that column doesn't exist, or if that column has different name, you can provide name mapping in the column properties so that it matches addresses. But in our situation, the column is called address. So let's just hit save and close that. So you can see this is our new set that was created, example address parsed. So in this situation, let's open our addresses and let's execute the script. You have several options. You can execute script based on to all the data in that set. So the script will be executed for 1,141 objects. So the way how it works is that every object is going to be streamed through the script. The neural network is going to parse out the values, and the values is going to be streamed back to the DataWalk. You can execute that for one specific row. So by just clicking those three dots in here, and you can execute the script from for one single row, or you can select multiple rows. And then by clicking those three dots, the system will execute that script only for those four selected elements. And as I mentioned before, there is a way using configuration to specify an analysis or the query that will tell to the script which object should be processed. So in this situation, let's execute that for all the objects in the set. So without selecting anything, I just click on those three buttons, click search and more, and execute my example address parser. So as you can see, system has recognized that this set has an address column. So system says, okay, I can execute this script because parameters matches. So parameters match. So in this situation, I click OK, run, and the system is running. In the same time, I can go back to Universe Viewer because that script runs asynchronously. And in the current version, end user have to wait for the green pop-up to show up when the script will finish. But you can also log out and go home and go back, and then basically all the data will be there because scripts runs on our queuing mechanism. And in the next releases, we are going to provide like an activity pane that is going to show you which scripts are running. So currently, we also need to match addresses from our source into the parsed out targets. So to do that, you just need to add connection, drag the line between those two sets. This screen tells you that our script has finished its work. So the data is in the set, and basically you can check them out. But first, let's create that link. So now let's call this link parsed from, and let's add special connection, which will connect object ID from the source system to entity ID in our result. So in this situation, you need to hit add with option pressed, compare base internal entity ID, and choose entity ID in here. If you apply it, connection has been added. So now we have the connection and we have 1141 addresses parsed. So if you open that set in table, you can see that several columns were propagated. So maybe let's just, it's road, unit, city, and state. So let's define the view. So it's road, state, city, and unit. Okay, let's switch to that. And this is our parsed out information. So now let's add here calculated column that will show us the original. So to do that, you can go to settings, sets editor, choose example parsed, add new column. That's called original. That's the power of the of links. In this situation, we choose calculated column, define value. It's going to be equation, and we are going to tell to the system, take from this example addresses set based on the column called address, based on connection type parsed from, and just paste it as a result. Let's materialize it and click save. If we, you'll see the green pop up in a second, and we just created new column from connected set. So let's just add it to this view. You can see that the calculated columns are marked green, are marked blue in here. So let's type OK. And you can see this is our original address. And those are the values that were parsed out from this by our neural network. So that's the first type of use case and first type of usage of that library. Second way of using that library is to update this set with additional columns and basically update it in place. It's a little bit more difficult, but let's just do it. So to do that, we just need additional configuration. So if you click Add Set, Add DataWalk Parser, let's create it example addresses in place parser. System again as the script. What are the necessary attributes that you need to operate properly? Those are these. But in this situation, instead of creating new set, we are going to use existing set. So in our situation, that's going to be example addresses. So you can see that those columns already exist. So let's just tell the system to use the existing columns. So if you do that, just hit create and confirm. Now this configuration, exactly the same. I want to execute that from table view enable. So I want to execute that from table, and necessary attribute is address. Save. Close it. Now, because we are going to update the values in here, and let's just preview that set, and let's just manage the view and add the columns. So in this situation, we need city, we need road, road, state, and unit. So let's just add them to the view. So you can see that those addresses, those elements are empty. Now we need to tell to the system what is the unique identifier of each of the object. So to do that, you need to go to a sets editor, choose the set of interest, and you can see here a few things. First, you can see that the import strategy for the set is set up to update. If it's not done automatically, you can manually provide that. So it says that basically whatever scripts are going to return where example addresses are the destination, then it should use the strategy update based on our identifying column, and column ID that is identifying is 808. So let's check what is 808. 808 is entity ID. So this is ID of our object that is in the set. It has to be unique for each of the row, and this is important. Also, you can provide here composite key if you want to, but in this situation, we don't have composite key, so this is just one value. So because those values are here, we can go back to our example addresses and table, and we can execute that script. So in this situation, search and more, you will see two scripts because those two scripts matches the predicate that the set should have an address column. But in this situation, we are going to execute example addresses in place parser. So, and that should return the results that are going to propagate those columns. So, okay, run, and let's wait. Those scripts are very easy to write. To show you the example how the scripts can look like, the script for address looks as follows. So this is the script that provides structure. So as you can see, you can recognize those columns that were returned by the script. The main py is a standard way of executing scripts. So basically, you don't have to change it anyhow. And processor is the whole code that executes that neural network and returns the elements. You can see that basically we are returning with every value. We are returning the original object ID of DataWalk object with every result. And indeed, the script requires address column. So let me go back to the script. Hopefully it was all done. So if I refresh it, yes, you can see that indeed we just updated the values in the set. So hope you like the presentation. In the next presentation, I'm going to show some additional stuff with the scripts. Thank you.